Alright, attempt number 2 at reviewing this replay. Alright, good boost grab. An interesting use of time though, but doesn't really matter. Just wanted to note, this is good. Like, you're playing off his touch. You're not diving for the ball. It's good. You know, this guy probably shouldn't cut across. But what's important is that you react to it. You play off of it. That stuff's all really good. This push is like a little bit brain dead. Like, it's very unlikely this guy's gonna miss. And you kind of just put yourself out of position a bit here. So it's very likely the next touch he's going to take, the ball's just going to go straight over your head. Okay, he gets a pretty bad touch. You're able to play off of it, but yeah, just in general, you'd rather be in a position where you can kind of actually do something. Whereas you kind of push forward here, and like you make it so easy to get the ball past you. Okay, this guy's kind of bad, so he fucks it. Where is he? This guy? Play view. So like, what this guy wants to do is take a touch onto the wall and then bang it again. And he just gets too heavy of a touch. And he could even follow this ball, but decides not to, which is fair enough to call. But yeah, you really want to be kind of threatening to shut down some of their plays, whereas you kind of don't really threaten anything here. You threaten that if he misses the ball, I will score. But you know, at what point are you gonna believe in your opponents a little bit more, right? Because this is a very simple ball to deal with, so should have a little bit more respect in your opponent here. But okay, I mean, it works out. You get a bit of a poo touch. Here you're kind of ball watching. Like, if we look here, you just completely forego the mid boost because you don't know it's there. And the reason why is because you just spend 15 years on the wall. So, what you really want to do here? Okay, you get a touch. Not a terrible pass. Could be a bit better, obviously, but it's good enough. What you really want to do here is just come down this way, route through the mid boost, and you can go for corner boost if you decide to, or you can cut in midfield. But like, what I don't like is that this default of like, I'm going to take the shortest path along the wall here. No, you're much better to come down beyond the floor, and then you have a lot more flexibility because you kind of just you slow down your rotation by doing that. And like, oh, look where the ball is now, it's in the midfield. If only I was there. Right. Okay, this guy's gonna be bean it there. It's all good. Our teammate beans it. He's playing good so far. Not a great touch. He's just a bit eager here. Like, look how much space you have. There's no one anywhere. There's no time pressure off of this touch. You have time here. There's no immediate threats, so take your time here. The obviously the actual problem here is that you're going way too fast when you jump, and so your momentum is just like, oh fuck, I'm going forward, and you go into the ball. So we just slowed yourself down here first, and then went. You would have no problem hitting this ball. Yeah, there's no good plays you can really do here. The best play you can really do is hit this ball into the corner. Your teammate kind of makes a poo touch, but you know you got to play off that. It happens. Missing is a pretty disappointing result. So just a couple of things I've already seen you doing quite a lot is like you're off ball cam here, and I have no idea what's going on. Like, are they on our net or are they on this side of the field? I can't tell from watching you play here. Like, I have no idea. Because you never flick on ball cam to see what's going on. Like you have this whole time where you should still be on ball cam. Like what are you gaining here from not being on ball cam? And then you also, and then another thing as well is you use like, so you miss your aerial, right? Okay, fine. You're on 70 boost, right? So if you don't use any boost, I reckon your trajectory is going to be, you're going to land about here. And you land about there. So using about 40 boost, you've gained yourself about 3 centimeters. And you land on your back. So you probably slow down your rotation by doing this actually. So unless it's absolutely time critical, which it isn't. I mean, you can't tell, first off, because you're not looking. But unless it's absolutely time critical, when you miss an aerial, or even if you just hit an aerial, you should not be wasting your boost when you're flying down to the ground. Yeah, you can waste a little bit if you think it's going to improve your speed a lot, but in general, there's no real point. It's just going to make you slower, because you're going to have to route for pads and things like that. You got 70 booster. That's good. You need to just grab a couple of pads and you're back up to full. So yeah, keep your booster, land flat. So like just air roll here, land flat. Also ball cam, so you can see what's going on. Okay, this guy likes to hit the ball backwards, but okay, you play well. I mean, you can maybe challenge this ball. It's a tough read. I think your call is also just as also good too. Maybe against better opponents, it's a bit more of a threat, but against these guys, I think it's perfectly reasonable what you do. And also against better opponents, your teammates probably less likely to do that. So yeah, defend it well. Okay, that's a good shot. Okay, good. Just a small thing. So you have a flip here, right? You have 80 boost. You can easily use 10 boost and do a flip here, and achieve the same thing that you do with like 20 boost. And you have less control as well. So boost and a side flip here save you. Let's use 40 boost. Yeah, so a boost and flip will save you. Boost and give you more control here because you'll be a bit faster. Now you're on kind of 40 on the ball, and it's just a bit tough now to do something with the ball. Let's see how you do. Okay, we go for a musty. I mean, it wasn't the worst idea. It was just a bit tough. And I would say, I mean, maybe you're confident with these. I would not be confident going for this. It's tough to find a good play though, because like this first touch, you just try to miss the ball because you're like too far away from it, and then it gets a shit bounce. I would probably try and 50 this myself, but I think what you do is also pretty good. It just looks a bit odd as well. Okay, this is pretty poor. So, okay, your teammate is not rotating back. Okay, not great. This guy's not made a great touch. Okay, but all right, you're last back, so you have to play smart here. So, yes, you want to push, right? Naturally, rotation-wise, you want to push here, but given where your teammates are, it's not feasible. This guy has a shot, so we need to respect that, and we need to also watch this midfield pass. So where you are is kind of okay. But then you turn here, and then you kind of just you give up the infield completely. So really, you should be staying. You should be probably like you want to be about here. You're gonna give yourself the best chance to cover everything here. You cover net, and you somewhat cover infield. But if he plays a good infield, you're fucked. But there's nothing you can do about that. You have to just do the best you can, right? And you just want to wait, honestly. You just want to wait and see what happens. You don't want to move. It feels unnatural to want to just stay still. But it's the best play here because you're in about the best spot you can be in. So your best play here is to just stay absolutely still and just watch what he does. Because what you've done is you put yourself in like a worse position here. You could also stay here is also another possibility. Like just sit in net looking out is also would be okay as well. It just makes backboard a bit hard, but there's no one backboard, so it's reasonable. You know, if he hits a shot like here, it's gonna be tough, right? But it's reasonable. Um, he beans it. But again, like after his touch, your best positioning is like here. And again, you kind of push yourself out of position. So again, you just wanted to wait here. And then he gets a free shot. And if he scores, if he puts it on net, that's a goal. Okay, he beans it, but in general, like when you're in net, and you're in lots of positions as well, but especially when you're in net, like it's very natural to want to move out as quickly as possible. But sometimes the best thing for you to do is just sit and wait. And what you're doing by waiting is buying time for your teammates to get back. Because at the minute they're not back. But you're buying time for them to get back. So here, this guy's coming back now. And then you would save this shot. And then you can push up. But it's just you don't quite have the time yet. Granted, that's partly because your teammates misplays. But that's gonna happen in a game of Rocket League. You have to play off of it. You can't just expect them to play perfect touches every time. It's never gonna happen. You have to react to what you see. Alright, let's move on anyway. Okay. Not the best, obviously. So, it's a tough spot, right? Because this bounce is dog shit. Okay? But the way you approach this is not very flexible. So, the way I see this player, I see that you want to be fast to the ball. Which, okay, thumbs up. That's a good intuition. But then, have you got a play in mind here? Because to me, it looks like you don't have a play at this point. You're thinking, I want to go fast to the ball. And then you get to this point and you're like, I need to make a play now. Backboard seems too easy. I'll try and take a touch, but it's just awkward, right? So the reason I say that is because, yes, you want to go fast to the ball. I think initially that's a good intuition to have, but at this point you have a lot of space. So you can afford to take time here and have a think about what you want to do. So if you just slowed down here, you'd give yourself an extra second to think about what you want to do with the ball. And if you want to backboard it, you can still backboard it. If you want to hit it, if you want to infield it or dribble it, you can do that too. The way you kind of rush to the ball, you just say like, I'm going to give myself as little time to react to this bounce as possible by doing this. And you have the time. Like this guy's nowhere near. Like this guy even goes to beast. So you have the time. Yes, he's reacting to what you're doing, but even better would be if he would actually challenge you. So like at this point, you can see where that ball's bouncing, and you can slow down, and you can see where your opponent is. Take your time, figure out what you're gonna do. I understand why you did what you did because it's something that I used to do a lot as well. Was I wanted to be fast, and then I would get in these situations where I'm like, oh, but backboard is just not very good. And the thing to do is to just give yourself a bit more time to figure out your play. And you're likely to bait opponents in if you do that as well. But yeah, this is obviously it's just a bit of a misplay, but it's kind of I can see your thought process through it, right? And when there's a breakdown in your thought process, that's always something you can improve. So yeah, let's carry on. Okay, so in my head here, I'm screaming, don't dive, don't dive, don't dive, don't dive, don't dive, don't dive. Because Geordie's like fucked it, and the ball is like in such a poo spot. He's got basically no play. So the last thing you want to do is put yourself in this corner and let this guy clear the ball with one shitty touch. Again, you're much better positioned like here, or just like here maybe. So again, like So far, I'm with you. I'm fully with you. I'd maybe be on the ground rather than on the wall, but it's a minor thing. And then once this happens, I've completely given up on this play. Maybe you can go infield as well. It's possible. Threaten an infield. Um, Based on the read, I don't think that's happening either. So my read on this is that I don't believe in this ball at all. This guy's just gonna get a clear for free. That's pretty much what ends up happening. And if you were like here, ready, you'd be right on the ball. But because you kind of push, you just kind of like it feels natural to just keep wanting to push, right? It's like the ball's going forward, so I must do that too. But it's not true because something's changed, which is that the possession is switched at this point, right? So while the ball may be going forward now, in a second's time the ball is not going to be going forward. It's going to be going backwards. So you need to, recognize when that happens and just say, okay, the ball is going to go somewhere in this area. I can't really tell where. So this is the best position for me. It feels silly to just, it may feel unnatural to want to just concede so much play up for this, but you're not really doing that. You're just making it harder for them to make a play. You're making this guy have to play it patient or get the ball in his car, which is much harder to. It takes much more time, and it makes it much more harder for them to actually get what they want. Because what they really want to do is just boom it, because it's the simplest option. But if you shut that down, then they can't. Okay, teammates coming in there. They will support you, and you will get a goal out of it. But just in general, like it's easy to see when things don't go right that uh, go right for you. It's hard to see your mistakes, but here, okay. Well, first off, why is this guy so slow? Second off, if he's so slow, why is he going up? Third off, what is this guy doing over here? Like, there's lots of things that your opponents did wrong here that caused this goal, but what did not cause it was this touch here. This touch was fine. That guy challenging that was perfectly reasonable. Um, and you weren't really covering anything here again. Like, maybe you're covering infield potentially, but I think this guy's good enough that he's going to force the ball left pretty easily, right? But okay, it works out. Let's see how the game goes after that. Might want to stay up for a pass here. It's a free ball for your teammate. No one's going to get there before him. You definitely have an argument to turn here. Go on the wall. Look at this guy. I mean, that's a tough miss. He's going to hit that ball in that direction, almost guaranteed. If you're there, you can follow it. Now I know Stan would say, oh well, maybe you want to play anchor. It's possible. Yeah, if you decide to rotate back here, it's reasonable at this level. It's perfectly fine play. As you rank up, it's a wasted opportunity to not turn here. But yeah, I mean this is reasonable. It's just in a higher level lobby, you would like to see you turn here because it just makes it much harder for your opponents. Instead of getting a good opportunity, you kind of just concede possession. So now they just get free possession. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't come immediately, but it's gonna come eventually. It's a good challenge. That was a good push there. So this is obviously a lot different to the one in the corner we looked at last time. Yes, you push here, but it's different because number one, you're not in the same position as your teammate. Number two, these two are in the same position, so they really need to sort their positioning out before they can if they're going to defend it. So this push makes a lot more sense because this guy's only real play is to smack it against the wall, which just gives a free ball to teammate. It is a good challenge. So this one makes a lot of sense because there's a rationale behind it. There's a reason. Like, okay, I'm challenging this ball because I don't want to give this guy a free clear. So it works. That's a good bail. Like, yeah, I think this is your ball as well. If you're quicker here, you probably, if you go up like sooner, you probably beat him to this ball. You probably would dissuade him, but um, okay, yeah, good bail. It's funny how you bail like preemptively. But at the end of the day, like, does it matter who goes for this ball? Not really. It's all the same. Okay, gets dunked. But it's safe, like, you know, it's an easy save. No problems. That's not bad. Just because I know you're a bit of a mechanical player, like, instead of doing a boom here, just a little single jump to just pop this up is going to be a lot more challenging to defend than kind of booming it all the way. This guy, all he needs to do now is just take a touch into the corner and he's good, which is exactly what he does. He makes a bit of a mess of it, but you know, that's a very simple plan for him. You pop the ball just up a little bit. You make it very hard to challenge the ball. And also you can threaten all sorts of things. You can threaten infield, you can threaten just a shot, air dribble, lots of options. So just a bit of a wasted chance here, but not terrible. As you say, like that guy, you at least force that guy into a bit of pressure. Make it tough. I would just leave here because it's often hitting the ball backwards. It is much harder to find a pass than hitting the ball forwards. Because if you hit the ball backwards, it's going in the same direction as your opponents, but it's going in the opposite direction to your teammates. So it's just you're making a play that's awkward for your teammates, but comfortable for your opponents. So if you're going to really hit a pass backwards, you need to have a very good idea on the person you're aiming for. If you kind of hit it without any kind of direction, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna backfire on you. It's not a terrible idea here. I would say if you want to go for this, try and get the ball at least somewhat forward, just to make it a bit awkward for your opponents. The problem, as I said, is you don't have a person you're aiming for here. So you're just guessing where your teammates are. And when you hit the ball backwards, it has to be very precise because it's always going to be awkward for your teammate if you get it slightly wrong. So it's always a very risky play to try and hit a pass backwards because as you see, they just get a free clear off of it, which is a very, very common thing that happens when you hit the ball backwards. But yeah, you just gotta pick your moments on those really. Like, they're not bad. Like, you know, if this guy, you know, maybe he supports you a bit better and it works out. But you know, given he doesn't, you have to react to that and just say, okay, it's too risky. I'm gonna just make it awkward and rotate back. Would have been better here, but it's not a bad idea. You just need to have a bit more of a better plan behind it. Okay, good play by the teammates. Your teammates have played pretty, like, they haven't played perfect, but they played pretty good this game. Like, you can't really complain too much this game about your teammates. They've been alright. That's just super nice. Nothing else to say. Like, you know, perfect. You gave us, like, kind of similar to the one on the wall, right? On the one before, you pushed up way too far. On this one, you gave yourself lots of space. Recognizing you have the space, you slowed yourself down. Gave yourself time to get this first touch. And you just executed pretty well. Like, that's great. And, you know, if you make plays like this, you already put yourself in a class above of most people around your rank, right? But it's like all those other little, like, simple things that, you know, if you don't do those, you're gonna be holding yourself back. You know, the ability to just pull off a confident play like that, it puts you in a class above most people. So it's just fixing up those simple things that you need to work on, really. Sorry. Where should I go? Not bad idea. Again, like your teammate looks like he might challenge this ball, so I would hesitate to challenge this one because the last thing you want to do is double commit with your teammate in the middle, because now your teammate in the back is like, oh shit. Okay, it bounces very favorably, so you're all right. Um, but it's risky. Better teams will punish that sort of thing. Again, not a bad idea here. Let me just watch this back one more time. That's a terrible touch by that guy. Yeah, you can also go ceiling here just to drop it down. But what you do is also good. It's good too. And you know you get pressure off of it. And the good thing is that you don't hard commit for this play. You rotate back. I like that. Okay, so but then you kind of commit a bit weirdly for this one. So first off, you use all your boost rotating back, which is not great. So you're on 40 boost, and you kind of use it all. So first off, that's not great. Second off, you miss a couple pads, so you end up low also because of that. And then this challenge is quite bad as well. So this guy would really like you to challenge right now. Like he would love if you just challenged and it was a 1v1. That would be his favorite result here. So you challenging just basically gives him everything he wants. What would be much harder to deal with is if you just shadow. Buy time for your team to get the teammates to get back. So you got one guy back, so you're already in a better spot than you would normally be in. You have teammate number 3 on the tail of this guy. So this guy really has to be thinking that he has to flick this ball as soon as possible, really. Okay, this guy could probably go for a demo, potentially, but going for boost also reasonable. What you should be doing here is shadowing. Just buying a bit of time. And then, it'll be easy to defend. If you shadow this ball, you get the challenge. Not on that guy, but on this guy here. And then, the game continues. The ball goes up the wall or whatever. This is just very hard for your team to defend. I don't know why he pre-jumps, because the ball's rolling along the ground, but fair enough. But this is not a good situation. Like, let's have a look at this guy. It looks like a big beat. Okay, he's got 12 boost, which, okay, we didn't know that. Wow, that is atrocious. Yeah, I don't know why that guy is like, I'm better at the game, I must hit the ball. Fair enough. But yeah, big bean, like, they can do much better here. And you kind of give them this chance. Unnecessarily. Granted, it was a tough situation. Like, don't get me wrong. The fact that you got put in this situation is obviously bad. And your teammates can play this much better. But again, like, if you want to be a C2, then make the brain dead play every time here, and you'll stay C2. But if you want to be a GC, then when your teammates make mistakes, you react and you play the higher percentage play, and then you stop conceding so many goals. Alright, again, ball cam. I want to see what's going on here. I have no idea what's going on the pitch. It's just like this just screams like incorrect to me, because I don't know. Should I be going for boost here? Should I be rotating to net? Like, it's hard to tell. Maybe you can tell the opponent's been there, but again, you don't know if the ball's going middle, if it's gone down their side wall, because if it's gone down their side wall, you want to push left, but if it's gone to the middle, you want to push down the middle. So just things like that, like you should be trying to get more information as you're going around. So you kind of know a bit more what to do. It's a good touch. Not such a great touch. Okay, this is pretty bad. Okay, so let's break this down. So your first touch is great. This is a great first touch. Okay, so secondly, you're defending, right? And your teammates are scattered somewhere. Okay, this guy's in an awkward spot. Your teammate's dead. When you're in defense, balls like this, you have no prerogative to rush this ball. Because really, as a defender, your job is to buy time, clear the ball, get boost. Because all that stuff makes it easy to defend, right? So the first thing I don't like is you kind of rush with first touch when you could have played it a lot slower. It's not a terrible first touch, but it is rushed unnecessarily fast. So if you go slower here, like just in terms of your velocity, if you're slower, you take a lighter touch. Because the problem is this ball then goes really close to the ceiling, and then when it's really close to the ceiling, it's very hard to hit the ball without it bouncing off the ceiling and going straight down, which is the last thing you want. Then you don't really react to that touch. So, as I just said, the ball's very close to the ceiling. So the last thing you want to do is hit this ball up, which is exactly what you do. You try and hit this ball up as fast as possible. In reality, what would be better here is, so you make a bit of, not a great first touch, but what would be better here is if you just slowed down to give the ball a chance to drop, so that your touch doesn't hit the ball up so high. And then you go from there, and then everything should be fine. But you kind of lose control of it because you rush it. But there was no need to rush either of these two touches here. Both times the ball was in a very safe spot, and you kind of rushed your touch and made it hard for yourself. And then you just kind of get very lucky. That guy pre-jumps and there's no one there, and that guy just gives it full away, and your teammate gives it back. Okay. Okay, this is bad. This guy makes a touch. Okay, yes, this makes sense to go at the wall, but you see your teammate, right? So as soon as you see your teammate, you should be like, I'm gonna do a different job. Your teammate has made the plan that he's gonna go at the wall, so you should not say I'm gonna do the exact same job. You should rotate to net and to just do something different, because there's no point doing the same job, because all it means is this guy to take two people out the game. He has to just hit this ball one time, and he takes two people out the game. That's exactly what happens. And then they go off. So if you just went to net here, it would be fine. Okay, he gets the boost, but you have 25. You're all good. And you can even be quicker here. If you stay on the wall, you can still save this ball. Just stay on the wall, jump off, get a block. Would have been fine, but again, you would have made it. You still make it hard for yourself because you commit on the same ball. Again, like this, you got a little bit lucky. This ball bounces down the way it does. Because if this ball just comes off the sidewall into the middle, it's a goal. Anyway, well, okay, they're nowhere to be seen, but should have been a goal comfortably. But yeah, this is not the best choice here to jump off like you did. After you've kind of made this like double commit on the sidewall, just stay along the post and try to go for a block, or just kind of aim to the left of the wall. It's still scary because this guy's floating, but you don't have much choice here. You have to react to the immediate threat, which is that this ball is in a scary spot. So I should expect a shot. But alright, let's carry on. Okay, very dodgy. Wasn't all your fault though. I mean, there's a couple of really monka touches from your teammates. You do actually quite well with it to make that play go backwards. That was pretty good. this is worth talking about. So again, like, so okay, this guy should press the ball clearly. Yes. This is so dodgy. This is so fucking dodgy here. So what should happen in a perfect world is this guy pushes the ball, you kind of support, this guy chills, back post, everything's good. This is a crazy cut by this guy. I can't explain this cut because his responsibility was covering the pass. Now, admittedly, you do make it a bit confusing because you don't commit either way. You kind of half commit to going back and then half commit to going forward and then it goes backboard. So on the one hand, this isn't your fault, primarily, but you've got good chances of saving this ball. Like, you have really good chances. Even here, you have good chances. Like, when this guy's touch comes in, if you jump here, and you can read this off the backboard. It's not easy, but it's doable. I reckon I could read this backboard for backboard. I'm trying to think. What would I say for you to do differently here? Like, it's a mess, right? So push out. This makes sense. Then that guy turns back, and you react. Hold on one sec. Alright, sorry about that. So yeah, this guy pushes, he bails, you react. It's interesting because, like, you kind of pre-bail before you even know he's not going to the ball, which already throws me off. Because I'm expecting you to push out this way. So, I mean, this guy, let's watch it from his POV. Let me just get in the mind of this guy. So he sees you turn back. Really, like, I kind of understand it watching it from his POV. It's very confusing what you do. Like, I probably wouldn't do it if I was him anyway, but it's a tough call to make. And I definitely wouldn't play it like that. He does get a demo though, so he's a bit of a god. Yeah, so you kind of like, because at this point I can't tell this guy's gonna go for boost. So this turn doesn't make much sense to me. Like, if I'm you, I would want to push this way, you know, pretty slowly, just kind of support this guy. And then you would already be in a position to take this ball when you see him leave it. Which is why this kind of confusion happens. Yeah, this guy's a bit brain dead. And yeah, he shouldn't, like, do this, but this goal was avoidable. With cleaner rotation, you would have signaled better to your teammate. But he just got confused by what you did. I don't really understand this turn though. Like, what was your thinking here? Like, nothing happened in front of you that should have changed your mind. Is my point, right? So if you wanted to be here, you should have just stayed here. If you wanted to be here, then you shouldn't have turned. So like turning here was kind of made no sense, right? Like you should be going forward at every point here. Forward or being still. Like going forward and then turning and then forward and then turning again. That stuff is just really not helpful. And it just puts you in bad positions by doing that. Alright, let's move on. It's a poo goal. Alright, 2-all to play for. Still back you to take this game. A little bit slow on your rotation. bit like indecisive in what you wanted to do. Very minor. Grab the boost, it wasn't that bad. Just looks a bit weird as well. It's a pretty good touch by that guy. Not the greatest touch. Okay. Backward, nice. That's very Raven. Yep. If you're in C2 and you're trying to do backboard plays, just don't do it. Not you. Like this guy trying to make the touch on the backboard. Just don't. You're gonna fuck it up every time. Just don't do it. At least do some like training packs and shit before you try it. That is very unfortunate. There is nothing you can do about that. That goal is just pure dog shit. I mean, what is that guy doing there? That goal you can't be mad at. Like, I mean you can, but another thing you could have done there. That's just pure dog shit. But you know, keep your head up. Don't go toting at this point. You know, you're still in the game. Okay, again, a bit ambitious. Like, you don't have the read on the ball. You do a very weird thing as well, which is like, so I think you think this is going forward. So let's break this down. So this touch comes in. Now this guy has come from this point on the field and it's bouncing there. In what world is that ball going to bounce into the middle? I'm not seeing it. Yeah, this isn't great. But you do a very weird thing. You aerial and then you go ball cam. It's not terrible. It's just a bit weird on how quickly you go to ball cam. That's the only thing I'd say. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. It just looks very weird. And like I've never seen anyone do this before. Normally they would like you do it so instantly. Like you do it so instantly. It just looks very funny. But it's not that nothing wrong with it. It just looks very weird. That's fine. You know, again, like you know, I've been critical about you know, having ball cam off and whatever. But, you know, in this spot, you're gonna grab boost, whatever. You turn it on back in time. I'm all good with that. Okay, not great defense there, I'll be honest with you. So again, this guy would really love if you just planted yourself here, so he could easily hit the ball over you. What he would really not like is if you just waited here, because that is a really hard aerial to hit. He's got no support. By pushing here, you just make it easier for him to make it over you. If you just wait here, like let's just wait here, see what he does. How easy is that ball to hit if you're here? That's so easy to hit, right? But instead you're here. And this guy is gonna basically do the exact same thing no matter what. Like, he's not even like, he's not reacting to anything he's seeing. The only thing he's reacting to is the fact that you pushed up too far and he's like, I can get the ball, I can make the ball really awkward by just making one touch. And he gets a demo. So you just like make that so much harder for yourself than it really needed to be. Okay, you try to be patient. Your teammates save the day. Let's see how you throw this game away. Nice kickoff. It's good. Again, you know, it's annoying. It's, you know, when the shit like this stuff tilts me. Like, my teammate cuts me just in front of me. And then they just completely fuck it. Yeah, it's really tilting when that happens. But he had a decent idea, he just messed up. And it's gonna happen. Like, yeah, maybe if he's a bit more aware, he knows you're there, he plays off of you, but Um, you know, you just have to play on. As tilting as it is. So, I mean, here, again, you need to kind of recognize there's a threat here. You try and get a beat on this guy, but the ball is just so much easier to hit for this guy. So you have to go high here. It's your only chance of getting anything on this ball. So very lucky on that one. Could have been a goal probably. Ouch. Ouch, dude. Ouchie, ouchie. Okay. What do I even say about this one? Well, you flip left, which isn't the direction of the ball. So you would, yeah, to save this ball now, you would have to steer right and then do like a sideways dodge. Um, just to give you some alternatives rather than doing this cheat that you do, because it's risky cheat. Like, you know, the risk of this is like you put yourself in a spot where it's very hard to react to things, and so you end up kind of guessing on the start. Can you see how you turn left here? Yeah, this guy's doing the same thing. Um, Alternatively, you can like do a very much further back cheat, go like here, which will give these guys less incentive to just shoot it first time, which gives this guy more time to get back. Um, yeah, he should do better here as well. I mean, it's not your fault, but just as an alternative cheat. It's a tough read though. Like you can do a bit of a further away cheat and just kind of, you know, be a bit safer on kickoff. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Just kind of come up to this mid boost. Wait, if the ball goes anywhere in around the midfield, you just grab pads, challenge, and then this guy should get the save. That's a perfectly reasonable way to play it. I think what you do is fine though. You like the thing is your just reaction is not quick enough here to realize that yeah, your left is not great here, but it's reasonable. You just need to just turn back right here because you don't like you're flying the wrong direction here. And yeah, if you flip the right way, you would also save it as well, but you just need faster reaction times there. Not easy, but um, you know, if you're gonna go for that kickoff, that cheating strategy, you need to react in time. It's tough. It's not real. It's kind of your fault. It's one of those things that kind of happens. Like goals like this are gonna happen. Like you're gonna get it wrong. Um, it's you know every player does it. Every player gets it wrong every now and then. So I wouldn't beat yourself up over this goal. It's an unfortunate way for the game to end, but I mean you had good chances in that game. You played some good stuff on the whole. Like there's moments where it's very good. Um, Obviously lots of little things here and there that I pointed out as we went, which are useful to think about. But I think that's going to wrap it up. So yeah, I hope it was useful.